Well, a good evening, a good morning, or a good afternoon to you, wherever you're watching from. Karibu sana. This is the defining moment. And on a defining moment, we bring people who have gone through stuff in their lives. And they have a story to share. They have a testimony to share. And God has done something in their lives. For some of them, they're still in the process, but something is happening. So today we are with Masi, Wairimu, Macau. And today we want to speak to the girl in high school or to the boy in high school. Some of them put put faces, but yet deep down, a lot is going on and suffering is happening. Today we want to speak to you. Karibu sana, Masi. It's good to have you. Thank you for making time to be here.
Thank you.
To get to share your testimony with us. You know, some testimonies are those gangster testimonies.
Yeah.
I killed 50 people and I survived. I lost all my friends. Some they look so simple, yet so powerful.
Yeah.
Yours is one of those. And it's good to have you.
Thank you.
Probably let me give you an opportunity to say a bit more about yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anthony, for having me. I am grateful for the opportunity to share my testimony.
Karibu.
So my name is Masi Wairimu Macau. I am born again, and Christ Jesus is Lord. I am a mother. I am married to Titus Macau, and we have 2 beautiful girls.
Lovely. And
we thank God. Yeah, so...
Mr. Macau is a happy man, eh? He has 2 girls.
Yes, he has 2
3 girls in the house.
3 girls in the house.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
All right, so Masi, we'll just delve straight into high school.
Yes.
Where, things have been okay. Your upbringing is okay. Your mom is taking care of you and your brother.
Yes.
And all is well.
Yeah.
So tell us about your high school experience, beyond the face and everything looking up. Well, but let's go back to something you watched.
Yes.
All right, let's begin there.
So I happened to have been privileged to have a TV around those days.
Wow.
So there were programs we used to watch, mostly with my brother, my elder brother. I have only one brother.
All right.
So there was a program I used to watch called Touched by an Angel.
Yes.
And it was a wonderful program that I never used to miss watching. And in that program, you would find people with different issues, with different difficulties around them.
Right.
But then with time, you would find God would send an angel to them. Wow. And there was one angel I used to really love. She was called Monica. And I used to love the way she would help people in those difficult situations. And I was happy that surely there are angels somewhere.
Right.
And I would tell God I would also want to encounter an angel.
Come on.
And I was a young girl then, still in primary school.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how it would happen. And
you just desired.
I just desired that.
Wow.
I would be touched by an angel like Monica did.
You see how powerful these programs are?
Yes.
Very powerful. As a small girl, you had a desire.
Yeah.
One time, you'll also be visited.
Yes.
All right?
Yes. So I would watch Touched by an Angel, and it gave me that desire to see God sending angels on my behalf and on behalf of others. Wow. So that they could be helped through the difficult situations they were in. I never knew how it would happen.
Right.
Yeah, it only came to happen later. And I also used to watch another program called The Turning Point.
Yes, they're very good partners, right?
Yes, The Turning Point and the 700 Club.
Right.
And they would bring stories of people in difficult situations and how God came through for them.
Yeah.
I would listen to them as they share testimonies about how somebody made a call or just wrote a letter and they were assisted through the issue they had.
Right.
And I never knew.
You will also be in that place.
I would also be in that place one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
So move fast forward.
Yes.
You are in high school.
Yes.
And you have a challenge of sleeping. Tell us
Yes.
about that.
So when I was in Form 1, I cannot explain really what was causing the issue of sleeplessness in me, but I would struggle so much with sleep. But looking back, I think it was out of so much fear. I grew up in quite a lot of fear from the time I was a young girl.
All right.
And so I think it also affected me in one way or the other. And so when I was in Form 1, I would struggle so much to sleep.
Sorry, question.
Yes.
In primary school, you were in a day school.
I was in a day school in primary school
All right.
up to class 7.
Okay.
When I joined class 8,
You went to boarding.
I went to boarding, which was the same school I was in through
Right.
that period.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when I was in primary school, I wouldn't say that I had those
Issues.
struggles.
Yeah.
And again, I had a group of girls we were praying with. So we would pray every night with them before we would sleep, and even as a whole dormitory.
Right.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say I had struggles with sleep in my primary school.
Okay.
It only started when I was in high school. Yeah.
So Form 1,
So Form
you get
1,
into a boarding school.
yeah,
Things are hard from day one.
I had learned to accept, because initially it was not one of the schools maybe I had desired to get to.
Okay.
But having been a prayerful person, even when I was joining, I had told God I accept my school and all the teachers, and I choose to thrive in that school.
Come on.
Regardless of how
The
it was.
environment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was comfortable with the school.
Okay.
I was ready to face the challenges that probably would come about.
Okay.
Yes. But then now this struggle of sleep, I can't really explain where it came from, but I had so much fear. And I am those kind of people who really feared darkness. From a long time ago, I feared darkness so much. So I would try the best to make sure that I am asleep before the lights are put off. So Form 1, Form 2s, we used to go to sleep at 9:30. That's when we would go to the dorm, while the Form 3s and 4s would come later at 10:30.
Okay.
So before the lights are put off, I would try and make sure at least I am the first one to sleep, so that I could catch some sleep before the others come, because there would be noise, a lot of commotion.
Yeah. It's interesting, Masi, that
Yeah.
even the days you really want to sleep,
Yeah.
you are pushing. It gets even harder.
It becomes even harder.
Yeah.
It was quite difficult for me. And so the only solution I had for me was to just cry, because I have prayed.
Right.
I have prayed, but then the sleeplessness is still persisting. So I would just make myself cry and cry. I would get reasons to make me cry. I would cry and cry until I sleep. And in the following morning, I would wake up a very strong girl, very okay.
So why were you crying?
I would just find a reason to cry so that at least I could get sleep. Not because there was any specific thing, but this issue of lacking sleep is affecting me. So I can't really give a very good reason for crying. But it was just a way for me to find sleep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So Masi, every time you are not able to get sleep, of course it really affects even the way you produce, or you're productive.
Yes.
The following day.
Yes.
Did it affect your studies?
It did, because I would find sometimes I am dozing in class while the teacher is teaching. But there wasn't much I could do. I would just try to fan myself with my book and try to wake.
Right.
Yeah, but when I would be sober, very sober, and I would be okay, I would put time to study. Yeah, so I didn't let it affect me that badly in my studies.
All right.
Yeah, because I knew I was a performer.
Right.
And as well, I was expected to perform from the other side at home.
Right.
Yeah. But it was quite disturbing. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine every time you want to sleep, nothing comes.
Yeah.
When it comes, it's probably closer to daybreak.
Yeah.
And that was a hurt for you.
Yes.
Did you believe that one day you will come out of that situation?
Yes, I believed that one day, one time I will come out of that situation. How, I didn't know.
All right.
Yes, I didn't know how it would end, but I believed there is God in heaven.
Yeah.
And if he loves me, I'm sure he will make a way for me to, to get sorted out of that problem.
Did you have a personal relationship with Christ at that point?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was an anchor.
Yes, that
for you
was
as
an
well.
anchor for me.
Were you a leader in any way at this point?
At this point, even if it was first term, we were introduced to the Christian Union the very first Saturday when we joined. And so with time, we needed to have a Form 1 class representative.
Okay.
And I was chosen to be the one.
Wow.
So I was a leader. And actually, even before going to sleep, I would lead the Form 1s to the dining hall where we used to hold our prayers. And I would go guide the Form 1s and we would pray. Yes.
What were you feeling? You're praying for all the other Form 1s.
Yes.
Yet you know you
Yet for
are
me,
not going to sleep. How was that for you?
It was heavy. It was difficult. And even at this point, when all this is happening, I would find some Form 1s coming to me with deeper issues. And they tell me, Masi, I have been dreaming with coffins and such heavy things, and she's getting news of deaths in her family, and I have to deal with that. So I would pray for them and other issues. I would pray for them, their issues were sorted.
Right.
They would continue on with their lives well and their families would be well. But here I am still struggling.
And you never shared this with anyone?
I didn't share that with anyone.
Right.
At the only time I once shared, I shared with one Form 4. And she just prayed for me. We slept that night. But the following night, it still reoccurred.
Wow.
Yeah, so I didn't get to share it with anybody else after that. Yeah.
So finally, help comes.
Yes.
Before we take a break, tell us about that help.
Okay. So after that first term, we went for holidays, then came back. During second term, the first weeks of second term, normally there are weekend challenges in high schools.
Yes.
Yeah, and so there were those ministers who had come in. I can't even remember where they were from. All I remember is that I got help.
Right.
And so on the Saturday, that Saturday, during that weekend challenge, that Saturday I spoke to one of the ministers and I explained to him my situation, the problem with sleeplessness.
Right.
And he quoted for me some verses. There is the Psalm, I think it's Psalm 4:8.
Right.
I will both lay down and sleep because you, Lord, you watch over me.
Come on.
And he also read, I think it's Psalms 27, where it says that the Lord gives sleep to those that he loves.
True.
And he emphasized that the Lord loves you. And as a child of God, you need to sleep well.
Wow.
And I was encouraged. Then he prayed for me. He held my hands and prayed for me and declared that I will sleep well because the Lord watches over me.
Wow.
It was the only thing I was holding on to.
Right.
And I believed that night I would sleep.
Wow.
And sure enough, that night, after those verses, after the encouragement and the prayers, I slept like a baby for the first time in so many days.
You slept the entire night?
I slept the entire night.
Okay, hold it right there. Yeah. That's already a miracle. That this minister comes to high school, she is in Form 1, she's leading other Form 1, she's praying for them, and things are happening, yet she is having a lot of struggles. And she's putting on a brave face, but deep down she's hurting. So she finds help, and that goes. But there was also another struggle that she was going through. And we want to know how she was able to overcome that and be the person she is today. So don't go too far. This is The Defining Moment. My name is Anthony Ndiema. Karibu sana.